Many of the world's fastest growing economies in the past 5 years have been in Africa, with many countries growing by 5% and more. This surge in economic activity has brought with it both opportunities and challenges. As Africa becomes one of the most promising frontiers for business, a key issue facing many governments is how the increased investment and Africa's abundant resources are used for the benefit of the continent and its people. For economic growth to translate into sustainable economic and social development requires a functional state able to mobilize domestic resources. A key ingredient is an effective and efficient tax administration capable of collecting revenues due to the fiscus. Playing a key role in assisting African tax administrations deal with these issues is the African Tax Administration Forum, ATAF. 39 of Africa's 53 states are members of the forum, which this year marks its 5th year. Launched in November 2009 in Kampala, Uganda, ATAF's mission is to provide a platform to improve the capacity, capability and performance of tax administrations in Africa. ATAF has in the 5 years since its inception made tremendous progress. Over 600 tax officials have received training through participation in more than 30 training events and seminars. Held in 25 countries across the continent, the technical training ranged from VAT audits, taxpayer services, the taxation of natural resources, transfer pricing, and more.
For effective discharge of its mandate, ATAF is founded on a set of institutional organs. We have the General Assembly, which is a supreme decision-making body. To support the General Assembly, we have the Council.
ATAF became legally established in October 2010 after 5 member states formally ratified the ATAF agreement. As part of its training program, ATAF has reached out to a large number of African tax administrations, even beyond its current membership, which has grown from 25 in 2009 to 39 today. Among the topics covered include the exchange of information, the taxation of small and medium enterprises, and the negotiation of tax treaties.
The Federal Revenue Service, Nigeria, was involved with a technical assistance program that was put together by the ATAF Secretariat in July 2014.
To make training and knowledge sharing more affordable and accessible, ATAF has developed an online course on tax audits, which was completed by 72 participants from 16 member countries. A further 100 tax officials have participated in an online course on tax treaties. Another achievement is the negotiation of the ATAF Mutual Assistance Agreement in tax matters, the first of its kind in Africa. It provides for members who are signatories to exchange tax information, carry out joint audits, and help each other collect taxes. On the research front, ATAF facilitated the establishment of an African Tax Research Network. The network will aim to lead the research into issues of tax policy and administration that are relevant to African countries.
The overarching goal of the research division within the ATAF Secretariat is to build the African capacity for research in tax policy, tax administration, tax legislation, and also leadership and management. And the optimal goal is actually to use that research to improve the performance of tax administration, but also to influence policy formulation and implementation. We also produce research, one on reform priorities of tax administration, on small and medium enterprises, and we're currently working on a project on tax compliance. And of course, we're offering online trainings, for example, one on tax treaties and currently one on the introduction to tax audit.
ATAF's research in 2011 into the tax reform priorities of African tax administrations pinpointed 5 areas of key concerns. These are small and medium enterprises, information technology, natural resources, transfer pricing, and exchange of information. ATAF is in the process of establishing a technical assistance facility to provide direct support to ATAF members in the implementation of reforms.
The idea is to provide direct technical assistance to our members. What we've done in the meantime is develop a database of experts. We've put together scoping missions, a funding model, and the building blocks study on a modern tax administration will lead to guidelines for our members to access this technical assistance.
On the global level, African tax administrations face the crucial task of safeguarding their tax base against threats of tax evasion posed by domestic and especially multinational conglomerates. This includes dealing with base erosion and profit-shifting practices such as transfer pricing, the use of tax havens, and the non-double taxation. ATAF has established a technical committee on base erosion and profit shifting that will lead Africa's input into international efforts in forging new rules in combating tax avoidance and evasion. Despite being one of the youngest international tax organizations, ATAF has already made its mark by providing a voice for an African perspective on tax on the regional and global stage. ATAF has developed ties with regional organizations such as the Southern African Development Community, the East African Community, and ECOWAS. It has also strong relationships with the African Development Bank, the OECD, and the IMF. ATAF has benefited from funding and technical support provided by its development partners, SARS, Irish Aid, DFID, BMZ GIZ, NORAD, SECO, and the Netherlands.
Building on our success over the last 5 years, we have an opportunity over the coming years to improve our value proposition to ATAF members. Firstly, over the next few years, we will be focusing on base erosion in Africa. Those issues that erode our tax base and leads to massive tax losses. Secondly, we want to improve our technical assistance capability to support members in building capable tax administrations. Thirdly, we will be establishing the ATAF Tax Academy that will have multiple elements to it. We will continue the work with our short course technical training programs. We will enhance our proposition on online training and also continue with the rollout of academic programs such as the current Executive Masters in Tax Administration that we are offering from October this year. The next 5 years promises very exciting times for African tax and also for ATAF and for its members.
Over the next 5 years, ATAF plans to offer even more value to its members and the continent.